Design is everywhere. Almost everything you see and interact with, from the books that you read, to the chair you sit on, to the ads you see on Instagram, all of it was carefully designed with you in mind. There are many different branches in the world of design. You can design clothes and be a textile designer, you can build toys and be an object designer, or you can design words and images and be a graphic designer, like me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Katrina Guinto, and I'm a 23-year-old graphic designer based in Calgary, Canada. I'm currently working for a design agency, but I also take on a little bit of freelance work on the side, which I've been doing for about 7 years now. So what exactly does a graphic designer do? So many things. Here are a few projects I've worked on to give you an idea. New Frontier is a fictional magazine I co-created with another designer, his name is Charles about exploration. We wanted to present the idea of learning as something that's fun, while also challenging readers to think deeper about what they're learning. Charlton and I also created a stationery brand together called the Curiosity Co. We designed the brand, which includes the logo, as well as the products. This project actually ended up winning an award, so that's pretty cool. I also had the chance to work with a spoken word poet. She hired me to create animations for her poems, which she featured in her live shows. I've also designed posters, social media graphics, apps, websites. Basically, if anything has words, chances are a graphic designer was probably behind it. So today, I'm introducing you to the backbone of graphic design, typography. There are lots of different ways to categorize fonts, but here are the four main ones. The serifs are basically the OG fonts. They're named after, well, serifs, which are these little swooshes on the characters. Serif fonts tend to feel more traditional, elegant, and serious, so they're often used for things like newspapers, fashion magazines, and academic articles. They're also easier to read on print, so that's something to keep in mind. Sans serifs get their name because they do not have serifs. They generally feel more modern and clean and friendly, and they're easier to read on digital screens, so you'll often find them on websites and apps and social media graphics. Script fonts are the ones that are based on handwriting or calligraphy. There's different types of scripts, which is why some of them feel more formal than others, some feel more retro, and some feel more casual. Display fonts fall outside the other categories and are generally more unique. They're typically meant for decoration and not legibility, so use these guys sparingly. What's cool about display fonts is that their personality really depends on each individual font. So if you're designing something that has a specific vibe or purpose, display fonts can be really good for that. The point of typography is to communicate a message, and designers put a lot of time and thought into presenting it. But the truth is that people don't read. They scan. You can spend hours on your design, but it really only takes a few seconds for your audience to decide if they want to read it or not. So how do we help them get the message we're trying to convey? Let me introduce you to this word called hierarchy, which is really just a fancy way to talk about the order of importance of each element in your design. Think of hierarchy kind of like a map for your readers, especially if you're designing something that's text-heavy. As the designer, the way you lay everything out will guide your reader as their eyes move through your design. So say you were making a poster and you're given all this info. The first step is to decide what's important. Maybe it's the title, maybe it's the organizers or the guest of honor. Whatever it is, you have to choose just one thing to be the focal point. Don't be tempted to say that it all matters equally, because if everything was important, then nothing would be important. You gotta be selective. One of my favorite ways to emphasize certain things is through contrast. Contrast is key to good hierarchy. In Tagalog, we'd say wag alanganin. In English, go big or go home. So if you're making something bold, make it really bold. If you're making it big, make it really big. And when you're choosing fonts, don't pick ones that look similar to each other. Having a variety of things to look at can help keep your readers' attention on your design. Another way to keep them reading is to organize the information. This stuff explains what the event is, this talks about who's involved, and this shows you how to get there. You can use visual clues like placement, or size, or color, or type treatment to group similar pieces of information together. Now the poster isn't just interesting, it's also easier to move through it because the information is organized in a way that makes sense. And if all else fails, at least choose the appropriate fonts that convey the vibe or the personality of the event. That way your reader can still get a sense of the message, even from just how it looks. Add a few details and ta-da! You've designed a poster! Yay! If we were to compare this to the original, which one feels more inviting to look at? Now that you know the basics, how do you elevate your work so that it's not just functional, but also kinda cool looking? I'm by no means an expert, but here are a few things I've learned from other designers. Less is more. Fonts are really freaking cool sometimes, I know, but there is such a thing as going overboard. Try to limit yourself to 1 to 3 fonts so that your design doesn't look too cluttered. It's in the details. When choosing fonts, challenge yourself to skip the well-known ones, and instead, look for fonts that have little details, which really adds personality to your design and helps make it more unique. Immerse yourself. I once had a prof who told us that Pinterest is vital to the creative process because it helps you develop your taste in addition to your skills. And I think that's true regardless of your craft. When you surround yourself with good art or good design, it gets into your psyche and naturally comes out into what you make. Break the rules. The best part of knowing the rules is learning how to break them. Remember when I said that serifs tend to feel more serious and sans serifs more friendly? Well, that's not always true. Sometimes flipping the rules around can lead to more interesting designs. And there you go. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. I hope these little tips and tricks were helpful. I think design is genuinely one of the coolest things on the planet, and I'm glad I was able to share a glimpse of it with you guys. If you want to know more about it, or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can follow me on Instagram at katrina.guinto and send me a quick DM to say hello. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you guys again soon.